The People's Front for Freedom held a 2-day retreat of the national and federal state leaders on the 13th and 14th of March 2026 at Kasangati, and the following were the retreat resolutions and recommendations to the party cabinet. Number 1, that PFF will implement its constitution, form and strengthen its organs, structures from the national offices, federal, states, governments, districts, sub-county out to the village levels with immediate effect. And we resolved to participate in the local council 1, LC1 elections. And we have directed that our leaders at the local level undertake to give technical advice and to prepare our candidates nationwide to participate and take over the local council 1 elections, because these are the building blocks of the Uganda that we want. That is going to be the gift the PFF will give Ugandans to give leadership at the primary level. Secondly, that the PFF undertakes a proactive approach to work with the social and other political forces to foment a collective citizens' resistance against the decimation of political opposition in Uganda and the renaissance of the NRM-1 party state under the family of President Museveni. We recognize a creeping intention of President Museveni and his NRM dictatorship to work subliminally to reintroduce the one-party state. This they have done through the decimation of the political opposition in Uganda. They have done it through buying off of opposition leaders, awarding them money and awarding them positions in their government by co-option, something which is not principled and not provided for under the Constitution, where coalitions would be entertained if any. The manner in which the political opposition is being decimated also carries with it intimidation, incarceration of party leaders, including our own General Kasangati and many others in prison. And we have seen state-inspired violence against the political opposition. This is intended to prevent any kind of opposition in Uganda and a bid to renew their desire to have a one-party state the way it was in 1986. And therefore, the PFF undertakes to take a central role in the Ugandan politics to call upon our friends, to call upon the social actors, religious leaders, cultural leaders, the political opposition forces to practically realize the threat of our existence, the threat to human rights and freedoms, and therefore to ensure that we foment a collective citizens' resistance against our own decimation. And we shall tell you the steps we are taking in the next 2 weeks to invite and have an engagement here at our party headquarters of all opposition political forces and progressive Ugandans, including religious leaders and cultural leaders, whose freedom is being curtailed under the nostalgia of President Museveni's existence in a one-party state. Number 3, the PFF is concerned about the militarization of all institutions of government, a phenomenon that is being used to cause subliminal intimidation of the masses the use of military tactics to solve civil challenges, to weaken the civil oversight over the military undertakings, and to subdue the civilian authority in a creeping manner. Members of the Fourth Estate, you know, and you have also recognized this vice, that most of the institutions of government have been militarized. This has not spared the courts of law. It has not spared the Parliament of Uganda. In the courts of law, you find unimaginable military men and women with all types of uniforms. When you go to the roadside, you will find military men alongside the traffic officers. You go to the land units, you find military men. You go to the universities, you find it militarized. The police was the first casualty in the militarization process. You find the cabinet is militarized, and all institutions of government, including procurement, including PPDA, in the banks. If at all you don't find a spy, you find a military officer trying to interrogate this and that. This process of militarization is immense, to enter into the body politic in a subliminal manner and to intimidate the politic and cause undue anxiety, undue policing, and at the end of the day to subdue the civil authority. Under the Constitution, the civilians' authority must be supreme and overarching, and the civilians must superintend upon the military. But today, we are observing as military is creeping in order to subdue the civil authority. Something that we must reverse, working together with other political forces, social forces, cultural and religious. Number 4 is an internal matter of our own finances, where PFF must raise the finances to run all our activities without looking to anybody else. Number 5 is also internal to us, where we are looking at our rebrand, and we are here to announce to you that on every Monday of every week we shall be having a press conference at 10 a.m. to implement our proactivity approach, and also to have many activities at the party headquarters, as you may hear from us. We have also adopted a calendar of the party, which calendar will be shared with the media so that you know and you can easily predict what we are going to do each and every day of the month. Number 6, as PFF, we adopt a dialogue with all political forces within the country and the international realm on peace, democracy and stability, including the political transition in Uganda. And we think that this dialogue cannot be restricted to inter-party dialogue. It is going to be to extend its hand to other facets within this country. The dialogue with the cultural leaders, the dialogue with the religious leaders, other political forces, the dialogue with the international agencies on democracy, including the Democracy Union of Africa, International Democracy Union, African Union, all meant to have our country deliver for us. Number 7, the PFF undertakes to step up legal and political activism in the fight against all forms of political and legal injustices. I think the polity has been quiet in fighting the vices of injustice that has visited many political actors. The solidarity that we used to work with had diminished. We want to reactivate this. to ensure that we step up our legal visibility in the courts of law to challenge and fight all forms of injustices visited to us. So you are going to see more legal engagements and more political engagements with the forces that be. All this is meant to prevent the state of hopelessness, state of fear that has visited our country, largely inspired by the state to prevent people from speaking for themselves. The people live in fear. People live in anxiety. They have lost hope. This is something that we have recognized, and together with other forces, we are going to step up with all the courage that is needed to ensure that our people regain the confidence that this is their country. And they must live in it with the freedom they deserve. And finally, the PFF undertakes to popularize this vision by reaching out and circulating from various political and social stakeholders, including religious and cultural institutions, the academia, the business community, diplomatic corps, political actors, and the judiciary. We want to reach them out. You know, the PFF was born a few months before we went into a general election. Therefore, people didn't get enough time to spread out our gospel. The gospel of sharing power and devolution of power through federalism, where people should feel safe with their natural endowment, where people should be happy with that what God has endowed with them at their regional level, so that people can feel comfortable to discuss what comes to them from what has been given to them naturally, instead of coming to kneel down before the powers that be in Kampala for resources to run the various regions of this country, yet the natural endowment would have been in position to sustain them. Our thoughts must be converging to those natural endowments to ensure that the center is left with nothing but coordination other than centralizing authority and resources to give out as chicken feed to where the endowments come from. Examples will be given. And here at the party headquarters we shall have a number of seminars to ensure that the polity understands why federalism is going to be the answer to the social, economic, and political questions that have been lingering in our country for all this time. I want to thank you. We respect you, we love you, and may God bless you. Thank you very much.